So welcome to the Regional Command interview and workshop for the month. And we have a really exciting person that we're going to be interviewing for this one. And then we'll jump into really how they've used Command in their business and get a bit more tactical with it. Before we start, I'm going to go ahead and drop this in chat again. I've got two links that I'm going to drop in chat, and I'll do it throughout the call. The first one is a link to our regional Facebook page. Be sure to go in excuse me, be sure to go in and follow that. That'll keep you up to date with any regional events that we have upcoming for future months. And these might be online trainings, these might be in-person stuff. So make sure that you go in and follow that. And then the other thing is our regional YouTube channel, which is the Carolinas regional YouTube channel. And so that is where we'll take all of the recordings such as this, as well as maybe new Command features, tips and tricks, and we will post them there. So make sure that you go in and follow or subscribe that, just so you can hear from everybody and be up to date with anything new that's rolling out and watch any recordings of classes that maybe you weren't able to attend. So again, I know we've got some more people that are jumping on into the room. We will go ahead and get started. I dropped this in chat, but since this is a class that's really about referrals, let's make the most of it. So if you guys haven't already, be sure to drop in chat your name and the area that you work. And so maybe you might need a referral agent across either South Carolina or North Carolina, and there's some amazing ones on this call. So if we can leave here with maybe building that referral network, that would be even better. So I'm going to go ahead and I am going to spotlight, and Jeremy, don't worry, I'm going to spotlight you, and then I'm going to spotlight myself. So I know sometimes it's weird to feel like you're you're the only person that is there, but I'll go ahead and spotlight myself as well. We're so excited, you guys. When I reached out to some market centers and said, who is using Command at a high level, I immediately heard from Jeremy's team leader, who is Logan Webster, who's out of the Myrtle Beach Market Center. And he said, Jeremy and his team are really using Command at a high level, specifically referrals. And they've done a really fantastic job of building their business around referrals. So Jeremy did send me a couple stats that I want to make sure that I'm sharing. And then Jeremy, I'll let you introduce yourself further. But starting at the end of 2007, entering the most severe real estate recession in the history of our country, Jeremy has been able to facilitate over $100 million in residential closings to assist 800 plus families in successfully purchasing homes. Jeremy and his business partner, Scott Tremblay, founded what is now Oak and Ocean Group, the largest and most successful real estate team in the Myrtle Beach Market Center, where $10 million in production is the standard for each agent on their team, which is absolutely huge. They really pride themselves on living and breathing a 6-star service, and everybody from the client care specialist to agents, client ambassador to transaction coordinators makes it their mission to give that 6-star Ritz-Carlton-like service. And so I think that's why he's probably seeing, and his team is seeing, the results of all of that referral business. Some other things in 2020, he was the number 13 agent in the entire MLS. And he has a wife, 2 daughters, loves football, reading, sports, and friends that he has across the country. He's been with Keller Williams for 3 years. And then I do want to also share these production stats because these are pretty incredible. So in 2021, the team of 8 agents closed 396 units for $103 million. 78 of those were done by Jeremy for $29 million. And then 2022 closed and pending. This is the team with 16 agents, and 6 just came on in the middle of the year. 292 units for $92 million. And again, 49 of those for $20 million, Jeremy had a hand in. So I see you guys dropping in chat the area that you work. Love that. Let's get those referrals going. And with that, Jeremy, I'm going to just pass it over to you. Just anything I didn't mention or anything that you want to add just to introduce yourself to this group of amazing people.
No, that was fantastic. Thank you, Sydney. I really appreciate it.
Of course. Yeah, I know. We all love to just have people just talk about ourselves, about us, right? All the time.
Yes. Yeah, that part of real estate is hard to get used to.
I know.
But yeah, I appreciate it. So
yeah.
we are in Myrtle Beach for everybody. I'll drop that in the chat later. And I appreciate y'all coming today. And I look forward to hopefully bringing as much value as I possibly can and help everybody get started on your own referral journey, because that's what it's been for us. It's been a journey. So
Perfect. Awesome. And so let me ask you, you joined Keller Williams in 2019, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you started immediately really diving into referrals and finding Keller Williams agents, specifically in referrals and command. And why was that something that you um, really put importance to? Why was that important to you and now to your team?
Sure. No, absolutely. And so let me just tell you guys a little bit about our journey. So we were an independent and we started building our team. My business partner and I had experience in the business. That's why the numbers went pretty quickly. I mean, we started hiring buyers agents basically from day one. And we were lucky to be in a market where you could do a pretty good amount of Zillow and realtor business. Well, 2019, fast forward, we met, went to family reunion, which the Myrtle Beach Market Center was very smart. They brought us to family reunion. We loved it. And it helped kind of get us headed down that path. And I took a look at Keller Williams and I learned, and from seeing, I remember seeing people with big hats on and handing out playing cards for business cards and all this stuff. And I'm like, what are these crazy people doing? And then Red Party, it was like, wow. But it impressed on me the value, like there must be value for the referrals. And so we hadn't even joined yet. Right. And I'm thinking to myself, there's got to be a lot of referrals. And, they talked about it's like a $6 billion referral network. And I thought to myself, all right, that's a big benefit for us to join Keller Williams is if we do this, I want to make sure we plug in. So from day one, we got on Command. We made sure our profiles looked great. We got our bios written, which that bio that you read, I just copied and pasted from Command. And we're constantly kind of working on it and updating it. We make sure we've got everything in there is just as dialed in as possible. Our transactions are correct and everything else. And we check it daily to see who's wanting to connect with us. So yeah, we jumped on Command and jumped on it, just realized the opportunity there from day one. Yep.
Well, and I think that's really smart. You brought up something that, we all might have joined Keller Williams or we get into real estate and we realize, oh, I need a bio. And so we kind of think, okay, I'll just write some sort of bio. So to anybody on this call, I would kind of challenge you, when's the last time you went and looked at your bio? And so does it have, to Jeremy's point, like, does it have your numbers so far up to date for this year? Does it have, maybe if you're now sponsoring or really involved in local community events, like things change, business changes. And so if we're relying on the bio because that's what Keller Williams agents are seeing in the referral network, is it the bio that you just put in when you first started with us, however long ago that was? And are you taking the time to really go in and make sure that that's the best first impression that you want to create from the very beginning?
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
And I will say, I just want to mention this before we get too much farther. One of the biggest things the mistakes that agents make is they think, oh, the referrals are all going to go to the big guys. And they don't. There's countless opportunities there's people who don't want to work with a team like mine because they feel like they might not get the personal attention. Right. Which I don't agree with that, but I'm just saying it's like or they want to work with somebody who loves dogs. They want to work with somebody who was a golf instructor in their past life, or they find a connection. And so I think that's one of the messages that you'll hear from me maybe more than once today. And I wanted to just say it in the beginning is don't make the attitude to have is who can I connect with? Because there's a lot of single agents in my market center that do 20, 30, 40 transactions a year just on referrals.
Yeah, that's a great point, because I do think sometimes maybe in the mindset we think, well, they're just going to find the largest team or the person that's closed the most transactions. But you're right, referrals can be a really personal decision of someone that you feel comfortable with and maybe has like similarities. So that's a great point. Thanks for mentioning that. So you dove into Command, you dove into referrals, you saw the crazy people that we always see at family reunion and mega camp with all of that. And so I think maybe a lot of us have, we've dabbled in referrals and we've gone in and we've, connected with some Keller Williams associates, and then we're kind of just sitting there like, well, where are the referrals? So what are some things that you do differently to stay connected with other KW agents? And that might be outside of our region. That might be just that, you guys are at the beach and people in the mountains, but what are you and your team, what are you doing differently to make sure that people are thinking of you?
Okay. Yeah, let me give you some examples and some ideas. And so when we figure out, and I can talk to you all a little bit about maybe how to figure that out for yourself, wherever you're at in the region. But when we figure out that there's a potential referral opportunity, we will contact that agent. I'll reach out. I might talk to the team leader. If it's appropriate, I might put my ISA with their lead ISA. We want to explain the structure of how like our business works. Hopefully there's kind of a fit there where our teams are similar and we can have a conversation. And then what we've been doing is we send out this kind of postcard. It's got some stats, got some things. It's huge, it's oversized, right? My goal is they're like, oh, cool. When I think Myrtle Beach, I'm going to think Jeremy, and they tack it up on the wall with a thumbtack, or they put it in their sales team. And so when they're thinking, like, you just want to stay top of mind, just like anything else, we'll send that out. We might send them one of our Oak and Ocean water bottles. I think we've sent out some cutting boards. We've sent out gift cards, like before we had the water bottles and our new brand, we were getting out there. But so for us, it's basically think like your 36 touch plan, right out of MREA. I mean, just apply it to an agent that you think is going to send you a lot of referrals. I mean, there was maybe Facebook is your thing. There's an agent in the Wilmington Market Center that I met, and she was getting referrals from all over the country. She was brand new when she started. She got onto every single Facebook group, every connection point that she could within Keller Williams. She got on to Young Professionals, for example, was her thing. And she commented and she worked. It's work, right? You don't just sit back and let them come in, like you mentioned. But she commented, she got in front of people, she made connections. She did like 75 or 80 transactions in her next year.
Wow.
I mean, that's awesome for a single agent, right? Just starting out. Or maybe that's what she's doing now. She's maybe 3 or 4 years in, but I mean, she took off and it was awesome. So,
well, I think that's, it's such a point that if it's basically, it sounds to me as if referrals is just one of your lead gen sources. And so 100%. You're treating it as such. And so exactly to your point, you're treating the people that are then finding you and sending you and your team the referrals, like they're seeing from the very beginning, oh, this is how they treat me. This is how they handle. So I know that my buyers or sellers that I'm referring are going to be in really great hands because you're just proving that and showing that experience from the very beginning.
100%. Yep. Yeah. It's one of the legs of my stool, if you will, to use that analogy. Yeah. If I was only had 2 legs of my chair I'm sitting in, I'd fall over in my Mr. Rogers sweater because it's cold in here. But you've got to have, so for me, I do some internet leads. We do a lot of Google leads and whatnot. I do some of that. Obviously, as we're talking about, I work my Keller Williams referrals, and then I work my sphere. And so it's all work, but it's, when you're brand new, you don't have the sphere, like you may have different legs of your stool. There's probably, I don't know, 10, 15 different options you could see of things you can do in MREA and that are out there. Mm-hmm. You just need to find the ones that are right for you. And I think Keller Williams referrals, I mean, I think you're nuts if that's not at least part of it,
Yeah. Yeah. So smart. Awesome. So let me ask you this. Do you and your team, do you have any sort of tactic of how you're picking the areas where maybe you're sending those postcards, or like, is there any sort of method to the madness, or are you just like all 50 states sending it everywhere? And if there's a method to your madness, how do you kind of figure that out?
Yes, no, absolutely. So the first thing you need to do, and I'm going to start and give you guys a little bit longer answer probably than.
No, please. This is great.
But I want y'all to think about this. The first thing you need to do is figure out, what's my demographic that I want to work with? And what's the demographic in my market? And so I think it really started there in our thought processes. Myrtle Beach, 75% of my clients are retirees from cold, high tax states. I personally want to work with business owners, high net worth individuals, families, help them make the transition to Myrtle Beach. So that's kind of my, like, our overall demographic. And then that's like what I want to focus on. For example, I don't want to do a ton of condo investors that, they want super low price point and they'll make 20 different offers before they find an $80,000 unit. It's just not, it's not the kind of business that I want to work on. I've done it, but that's not where we're at. So I have my plan. I know what I'm looking for. I know what my demographic is in my area. And then the problem is, so you can go in Command and I can see where the biggest feeders come from in my market. And so that is super cool. And what I learned is there's people moving. I feel like I'm working with somebody from New York or New Jersey every week, right? But it's so spread out in where they're coming from, it's difficult to find like a correlation, right? So what I learned in Command is there are so many referrals coming from Charlotte, for example, Greenville, Hilton Head, Savannah, and Columbia. Well, wait a minute. Now we're talking those in my region. I know people there. I can focus on those market centers and it's going to pay off for me versus a shotgun approach up to New Jersey. Now, have I sent out some flyers up there? If I meet somebody, have I sent out some water bottles? Like, absolutely. But it's not, you can't blanket the whole, every market center in New Jersey with your message.
Right.
It's tougher.
Yeah.
Does that all make sense?
To me, yeah, 100%. That it's, I think, like what kind of is standing in my head is so often I think we hear referrals and we assume that referral has to be across the country or a completely different state. We're a really, really amazing region for a ton of reasons. One is like we have 43 market centers that are really kind of spread out among those two states. And so you and your team are so smart in looking at, like, you have an understanding of those markets, probably a little bit more than you would New Jersey or a different area. And so finding the agent that whenever they need help in Myrtle Beach, they know they're coming to you. And then whenever you need help in Charlotte, you have that, that one person or those groups you can choose from that then you're sending referrals to there.
Yep, absolutely. So that's our.
Love it. That's really smart. Really smart. So let me ask you, this is the final question that I have, and then we'll actually jump into Command. But if you guys have questions for Jeremy, please feel free to drop those in chat as well. But what would be your number one tip if someone is on this today and maybe they haven't really kind of jumped into the referrals and finding more referral business, knowing what you know now, what would be one of your biggest tips for someone that wants to dive into this a little bit?
I think the best thing to do that's going to get you the best results is get into Command, make sure your profile, I mean, that's super easy, but make sure all of your stuff is up to date and you're looking good on there. And then get involved in a group with Keller Williams, whether it's young professionals, sports and entertainment, luxury, there's a bunch of different stuff, right? Even if it's just in link up with some people in another market center, form your own group, but get involved with a group and start being involved in networking. I think that's the best way. You'd be amazed where you put that effort in, and it should be pretty easy for you because you can pick a group that you connect with anyway, or that's important to you. And like KW Cares, right? If you want to give back, I'm sure there's probably ways you meet agents through there and you end up getting referrals out of it. There's always a way to connect within Keller Williams. That's one of the best things about this company. So find a way to connect that works for you and work it as a system, and it'll pay off 100%.
Smart. Yeah. So profile, and then just finding like your little communities. And I think it's whatever's authentic to you is so important. So whether it's luxury or young professionals or sports and entertainment or land or whatever that might be. We do have a quick question. So it says, what message are you sending to potential referral partners? So I know you're sending out like some of that swag, but are you sharing any of your stats? Are you just kind of reaching out and making sure they have contact information? Is there any sort of message that you're sending?
Sure. So I'm going to want to reach out to them before I send anybody anything and
Yeah.
just make sure that there's a fit. And so I'm going to focus on an agent who's maybe similar to me. Um, and then I'm going to give them my unique selling proposition. So you would, anybody in this call, you do the exact same thing. Find an agent that's similar to you, give them your unique selling propositions. And for us, it's 6-star service. It's the team, it's having that support around me so that your client that you trust me with will get a high level of service, right? Because I have that support. And then maybe something personal. I mean, sometimes I connect with people because I'm a licensed general contractor and my wife and I build houses. Or because I have 2 girls that are, one's in middle school and one's in elementary school. I mean, so just kind of depends. But so I want to make sure there's a fit. And then I want to give them my USPs or my unique selling propositions.
Got it. Okay. And then a little bit of a follow-up to that and a great question. Thanks for asking, Susie. If you found a market in another state that's a feeder, you answered, you don't send the swag immediately, but do you reach out? Like, let's say that Charlotte is a big feeder area. Do you have you want 3 to 5 agents there? Does it depend on how many referrals might be sent? How do you kind of decide? Or is it, you're really doing one in most of those feeder markets?
I mean, if I'm just doing one good relationship in the feeder markets, I'm doing great. And then that way, I can send them referrals back too.
Right.
But I would say ideally 1 or 2.
Okay.
But that's how ultimately you really cement the relationship is if you're sending the referrals back and forth, which we do with those. And that's another reason, like if it's, Poughkeepsie, New York, it might be 6 years from now. And I'm like, oh, hey, someone in Poughkeepsie is looking to sell their house and move down here, but it's not going to be but in Charlotte, we get stuff up there all the time.
Right.
So I can really kind of drive it home and build a relationship because it's mutually beneficial.
Great. And then I'm sure they're hearing, because you guys are providing such amazing service, they're hearing that from the people they referred. And so then it just increases the chances of additional referrals because you're delivering on what you promised you would do for whoever you're working with.
Yes, I should have mentioned that. I can't understate that enough. Don't drop the ball after you get the referral, and communicate with your referral agents. Like they'll help you out. I've had referral agents that help me get a price reduction or help me get through a transaction one way or another because they have that relationship with them and they're a good agent. They know how it goes. But yeah, make sure you're communicating with them. And make sure you provide phenomenal service. That's how because they'll say, hey, Jeremy knocked it out of the park with, Bob and Sue. I hear you have someone else from Myrtle Beach. You should really call him and his team. And that's when things for us, the snowball really started to kind of grow.
Very cool. Yeah. So then it's not even, it's the agent referring, but it's the people that you also worked with referring to the agent that they need to send more referrals. So it's everything just increases.
Yep.
Very cool. Awesome. Well, it looks like we don't have any more questions in chat. So Jeremy, you are welcome to stay. I'm going to jump into Command. You are also welcome to go, whatever you'd like to do. But if you do jump, I just would ask, would you please drop your referral information into the chat so we can make sure that everybody here has a great partner in the Myrtle Beach area that they can count on. And thank you so much for your time. We appreciate you.
Yeah. And connect with me on Command, everybody, if you want, I'll accept your thing. So then I'll know where you are. And you can connect without sending a referral. So
yeah,
absolutely. And I really appreciate you having me.
Thank you. Pleasure to have you. Have a great day, Jeremy. Thank you.
You too.
All right. So let's go ahead, you guys. Now we're going to actually jump into what Jeremy talked about. We're going to really look at Command. We're going to look at 2 things. We're going to look at how the referral process works in Command and some best practices about that. And then we'll actually talk about where Command is pulling details from, such as your bio, profile, all of that, and how to just make sure that that's up to standard, looking how you want it to. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And during this, if at any time you guys have questions, feel free to unmute, feel free to drop in chat, anything like that. So we'll go ahead and jump on in. And I've gone into Command. I went ahead and logged in previously. Remember that we can get to Command by going to agent network.kw.com. You're going to have a username and a password, and that's going to allow you to have access into Command. So we're going to take a look at the referrals applet first. So to get into that, anytime if you're not familiar with all the applets in Command, you can click on this red box right up here. It's going to open up that window, and then we can see the names of the referral applets next to them. Referrals is about halfway down. It looks like a little silhouette of a person kind of in a bubble right there. So we're going to go into referrals. And while this is loading, just some really cool things about referrals. Remember that Keller Williams is a worldwide company. So you can actually find referral agents, not only outside of your state, but out of the country as well. So if you do have maybe investors that are looking in other areas, or people that you know that want to purchase in a different area, we can find agents anywhere across the globe in Command, which is really cool. So when we go into the referrals, we've got a nice little dashboard here that we first go to, and this will have your referrals overview up here. If you have any pending invites, which means somebody invited you to their referral network, you would see that here. Any pending referrals, and then referrals that have been received and referrals that you've sent. I'm going to demo account, so you're not going to see actual statistics or numbers here. And then down here at the bottom, we've got your referral network. These are the people that you've added to your referral network so far. And so we can search right up here at any time. We can see all of the names here. We can click on the little arrow right here, and we'll see additional details. This pulls from their bio, so you can see all of that in real time here. So what we're going to look at first is the ability to grow your network. Now I can get there a bunch of different ways. I've also got a map view up here, which is what we're going to kind of dive into. And then you've got your network. So we're going to come right up here to the map, and this is how we can find really anything. So there's a bunch of different things that we're looking at here. So you'll notice we have a map view right here where we can search on the map. And then you've got this nice little drop down section right here. We can search by production. We can search by market centers. We can search by my network, and we can search by referral patterns. So we're not going to touch too much on market centers, but I want you to think about this. Remember that with Keller Williams, what's kind of nice, it's really nice, is we can not only get referrals for buyers and sellers, but we could also refer people that might be interested in joining Keller Williams to market centers, which then could help you build and grow your profit share tree. So let's say that I have a cousin that lives in Texas, and they're thinking of getting into real estate. And maybe I want to call the team leader of the closest market center to where my cousin lives and just refer someone to that team leader. I can very easily find a market center by just clicking into the market center and then searching in any area. So I can come in here and I can search and see kind of where the market centers are and see the general details there. So again, less for agent to agent referrals for buyers and sellers, but know that that's another option that we have there if and when you need to see like, where's the closest market center to that? What we're going to really jump into though, is we're going to really take a look at this production. And so I'm going to click right into production. And just because I like to look at ridiculous numbers, we're going to go with a zip code, and we're going to do 90210, which is what I always like to look at when we're looking at either properties or some sort of production there. So we're going to say 90210, which is Beverly Hills, and we're on that production right there. Now, this is going to be a lot of data here. So you'll notice all of these green little bubbles then start to pop up. Over here on the right, I've got search results, but then you'll notice it says, we found too many agents to display. Please zoom in. So something that we know from referrals, and I'm sure Jeremy and his team experiences this as well, is like it's very hyper local. We don't want to necessarily say like, I just want someone that works anywhere in LA. And so what's nice with this and with the map view is I can really kind of zoom in to see who's really closing transactions in these little pockets here. And so to do that, and also because we've got just too much transactions going on here, I'm going to actually zoom in here. And so you'll notice we have to give it a minute, especially in a high producing area. We're going to continue to zoom in, and then all of those little dots will continue to pull up there. Now I can move the map around. So maybe we have a specific area here where we really just want to continue to move that map. We'll come in one more time just so we can get a little bit of less there. So you'll notice now all of these green bubbles pop up. What these green bubbles mean is these are transactions that were closed by a Keller Williams associate in the last 12 months. So what's nice about the referrals applet in the map here is it's always showing data and statistics for a rolling 12-month period. So we're in August, so this is showing you from July of last year to the end of July this year. These are all the people that have closed a transaction in this area. Now over to the right, I've got the search results. So you'll notice right over here, I've got 358 agents. Now you'll notice here, it's being sorted by a random order. I have the ability to sort any way that I want. We'll take a look at that in a moment. And then up here, I also have filters. We'll look at filters in a moment as well. Now up here, I also have the ability to type. So you might be going to Mega Agent Camp is next week. Maybe you're going to that, or maybe you go to some sort of Keller Williams event and you remember, oh gosh, that person's name, her name was Stacy. She lives in Beverly Hills, but I can't remember her last name. I could start to type up here, and anybody that has that name or spelling, they'll pop up as an option. But what we're actually going to look at first is the ability to sort this. And so you'll notice I can sort in random order. And that is nice because, to Jeremy's point, it's not that we always want the person who's closed the most units to show up first. And so if you're newer to the business or you haven't had as many closings, you're not always going to show up at the top, but you're not always going to show up at the bottom. It's always the default is that random order. I can come in and also sort by first name Z to A, so I can decide there, last name. And then what's really nice is I can also sort by closed units, listings sold, buy sides, and leases. So I don't know about you guys, but prior to referrals rolling out, a lot of times what I would see is I would go to a Facebook page and I would say, I'm looking for an agent in 90210. And then suddenly that Facebook post would go viral and all of these people would say, I've worked here and I do this and I do that and I do all of these things. What's really cool about using the referrals applet in Command is the statistics and the numbers here pull from our Win More system. So Win More is what your market center administrator uses when you have a new listing or when you're representing a buyer and they go under contract. So you can rest assured that if I come in and maybe I'm sending them a buyer referral. So I say, I actually want someone who's really comfortable and capable working with a lot of buyers. You can rest assured that when I come in here and I look at the statistics of that particular agent, these are real-time accurate numbers. They can't be input by the agent. They're actually pulling in from Win More. So let's look at James because I don't have any connections with him yet. So you'll see I've got James Scott Suarez right here. And then next to each of these contacts, I've got a little, just a little triangle right there. I can click on that and I'll see the about information. So phone, email, any languages that they speak, and we'll talk about how to update your profile there. Any agent stats. So the number of closed units in this area is 7. In the last 12 months, he's closed 121 units. 62 of those were listings sold, 68 of those were buy sides, 10 of those were leases. And then the sales volume for the last 12 months is 153 million, and the average deal size is 1.3. Now, again, we want to make sure that we're picking the right person. So if you say, well, the average deal size is 1.3 and that's great, I actually have a buyer that's a first-time home buyer and like they're a little bit lower than that. So maybe that's not necessarily what I want. But again, remember, we're looking at real numbers, real statistics that can't be changed here. Now, let's say that I do want to connect with James, and maybe I don't have a referral for him immediately, but I want to connect. You'll notice that next to each of the agents that come up, I have 2 options right over here. So I've got right here where I can connect with them. And then the one that looks like a little kind of piece of paperwork in the arrow is if I actually have a referral to send them. So I'd love to just kind of hear from you guys. Can you just do me a favor and drop in chat? Have you ever used referrals to connect with an agent? So just a yes or a no in chat. Have you ever used referrals to just connect? Okay, yeah, so most of you have that. We've gotten to this point and we've connected with the agents. Awesome. So if we want to connect with them, I think of this almost as like our internal LinkedIn. Maybe I don't have a referral for them yet, and I want to make sure that I'm connecting with them and just sharing who I am. So let's say that I want to connect with James. I'm going to click on that and it says, would you like to send an invitation? I can't stress this enough. If this is something that you want to focus on, so like Jeremy mentioned, this is one of his buckets of lead gen. If this is something that you're saying, okay, this is something that feels organic to me, I want to start to use this, please don't just go in and send out a bunch of invitations with no details in there. So I don't believe that in this personalized message, you have to send your entire bio. However, think of if you were representing buyers and sellers and you were sending out referrals, or somebody was sending you referrals, what would you want to know about the agent? So maybe I would just say like, hey, James, I'm Sydney Seymour. I'm a local real estate agent in your area here. I've been with Keller Williams for 10 years. In the 10 years that I've been with Keller Williams, 6% of my business has been from agent referrals. And I'm looking to expand that and just wanted to find the best agent in the Hollywood Hills area that I could connect with. These are the areas that I service. If I can ever help with anything, please let me know. I'll be attending Mega Agent Camp. If you're there, let's connect. So rather than just like going through, sending out a bunch of things, now we could copy and paste it every time. Nobody needs to know, but we're going to make sure that we're changing the name of whoever we're sending it to. So we would just type whatever personalized message we'd like there, and then we're going to send that invitation. So any questions from anyone on just finding the people in a specific area and then just sending them the connection? Just check chat. Nope, looks like you guys have just used that part. Awesome. So let's talk about something that's really, really cool, you guys, are the referral patterns. And so let's jump into that and think about how we're going to maybe use that in our business. So you'll notice that we've got this, or actually, sorry, before I leave this page, I want to show you one other thing. I do want to show you the filters right up here. And so let's say that these KW specializations, now this will be updated just so you know in the future, and we'll be adding additional KW communities. So such as sports and entertainment and those different ones. Maybe I have someone that is active military and I really would love to refer them out to someone that is also maybe previously was in the military or is currently in the military. I can come in and I can filter agents by any of those specializations. Maybe I have someone who it's their first time home and they're a younger buyer and I want to connect them with someone who's in KWIP. I can also come in here and pick those. I can also come in here and I can search by languages spoken, and I can search multiple languages. So I can come in and see that. And then I can also say, I want the person that I want to find to filter by to have closed X number of units, listings sold, buy sides, or maybe I really am into like that average listing price. And I want to know, like, this is a really high profile client and I need someone that their average listing price is above 3 million or something like that. Or again, maybe it's a first time home buyer and I want them to work with someone that's comfortable kind of in that price range for potentially a first time home buyer as well. And then I would just choose apply filter and I can add all of that. And then it will show me the agents that match that. So Ashley, how did we get here? We'll back up just a little bit. So we got here by going into referrals. And so once we go right into the referrals applet, we can either go to the map by choosing grow my network. That drops you right over to the map, or we can come right up here to map. And then that takes you to the same spot. We picked production in the drop-down menu, and then we can enter anywhere across the globe for that as well. Susie, how can I search someone's name if I don't know where they are from? So you can search by name. We could actually come in and you'd have to have some sort of, if they're not in your network already, where we could search up here. So if they're in your network, we can search right here. But if we're searching in the map, we have to at least kind of get into at least a state somewhere. Otherwise, it's just going to be way too many to pop up and the results aren't going to be found. So you'd have to at least know some sort of area. How do I check what tags I have, Jeremy? I'll have to look and see. I think that pulls from your KW Connect profile. But the tags also, so this is if I wanted to add a tag to someone that's in my network. So tags don't necessarily come up when we've connected. This would be if this person is, let's say that they're a luxury agent, and I want to make sure that I add that tag. So it's more for me to know, to be able to, so tags won't come in automatically. It's for you to know kind of what they specialize in with that. Okay, cool. Looks like we answered all those questions. So I'm going to go back into the map, and now we're going to talk about a really cool feature here, which is the referral patterns. So again, we've got this drop-down menu right here of referral patterns, production, all of those different things. I'm going to enter a different area. We're going to stick with 90210 actually, because I just think it's interesting to kind of see what we have going on there. So we're going to enter that area right up here. Well, hang on 1 second. Let me just refresh. It took me to a different market center. Bear with me for 1 second. Okay, so there we go, Beverly Hills. And you'll notice I've got referral patterns, and you'll notice, and we can move that map just a little bit so we can see it. And so this is showing you in the area right here, we've got referral patterns, and right here, it's showing us right now, referral patterns that have been sent or referral patterns that have been received. So right now we're seeing referral patterns that have been sent, meaning if I live in Beverly Hills, we're looking at where the top 20 results. So interesting enough, top result from Beverly Hills is to Lake Ozarks, followed by Las Vegas, and then Henderson, Nevada, Austin, Texas, New York, California, Dallas. And so you can see we can move all of that. So those are the ones that have been sent, meaning I live in Beverly Hills, I'm sending referrals out here. The other ones are what have been received. So this might be what you want to look at. You can look at both, but insert your area here and see where are they being received from. So the first one that's being sent to Beverly Hills is from Tucson, followed by Anchorage, Alaska. See, sometimes it's very shocking sometimes. And then we get into Scottsdale, Las Vegas. So notice those were both really high up as far as sent and received. Phoenix, Prescott, San Antonio, Henderson, Texas, Chicago. So this is really cool data of referrals that are being sent between Keller Williams Associates. Now I can even break this down a little bit more. So if I click on that, you'll notice that the top received by Tucson, Arizona. So if I live in that area, and this is kind of alluding to what Jeremy was saying, that a lot of times we see them coming from different areas, but a lot of times we see them coming from our local market, but maybe 2 to 3 hours away or a different MLS away. So like the number one here is actually in the same state. It's Scottsdale to Tucson, Anchorage to Tucson, Prescott to Tucson, Miami to Tucson, and then Coral Gables. So as you're thinking and building out your referral network, I would highly recommend that you take a look at your local market and see where the highest percentage of those referrals are being sent to and being sent from. And then when we find that referral person that we want to connect with, when we send the invitation, maybe that's something that we include and we say, I was looking up the referral patterns and it looks like we have, a lot of people referring business in between our areas. Just wanted to make sure that we have each other's contact information or whatever else you'd like to say. So again, we got here by going to the map, referral patterns, and then just entering the area that you want to see referral patterns from. So this, you guys could get lost in this for a long time because it's, if you're a geek like me and you like to geek out on data, it's some really, really cool stuff there. So let's talk about how we can make sure that your profile is up to date so that when people are looking at you and looking at you to send referrals, that we're looking at the accurate real-time data. So we're going to come over to the top right and we're going to go into your profile, which is the first option. And this is your profile, how it will look for this. So we're going to come right in here. And then if we want to edit profile, you'll see we've got all of these different things here. Now, We can also add it in different places, and I'll show you where that is. So we've got your information here. Your first name and your last name and your KW UID can't be changed by you. So let's say that you have a name change. That's something that you'd need to put through your MCA, and they can come in and they can add that. Email and phone number are required. And so make sure that these are the accurate and up-to-date information. You would definitely want to make sure that we have service areas. So you can come in here and you can add multiple service areas here, and then just make sure that we're hitting save there. And then we've got your bio right down here. This can be copied and pasted from other areas, but we just want to make sure that everything is up to date here, showing as it should. A lot of this doesn't show in the referrals applet, but shows in other places. So we just want to make sure that we've got it here. Your Facebook URL, your Twitter URL, if you're on that, YouTube, LinkedIn, Google Plus, which I don't even know if that exists anymore, and then your Instagram. And then referral network, the opt-in is by default. We just want to make sure that that's there. And then on your profile page right here, do we want to show closed units, listing, sold, buy, sales, lease, and time with KW? These you would all turn on. These will automatically be turned on in the referrals applet. This is just for your bio page right here. And then if we made any changes, we would just want to make sure that we hit save changes right there. The other place that we want to make sure that we're going to is we're going to come right down here and we're going to actually go into settings. So we went into your profile first, and now we're going to come right here and we're going to take a look at settings. First page here is just general settings for Command, nothing that we need to do there. And then we're going to come into Command settings, and we're going to make sure that we've got everything set up here, which you guys have done kind of when you first, log in. So what we're looking at right here is connect settings and then your marketing profile. And so right here where it says, use my information to brand my agent's site. This is also for your website as well as your referrals. Your photo right here. So we want to make sure this is your most up-to-date headshot if we've had something new that's been done. If you're currently on a team and you have a team logo, you can upload that here. If you're not on a team, you don't have to upload that. Some people do upload the National Association of Realtor logo. That's a personal preference for you if you would like to or not. So don't have to add that if you don't want to. And then we get into your details. So your first name, your last name, agent license number. If you're a part of a team, that could be here, professional job title, a slogan, any designations that you have. And then we get into military affiliations. So if you were active duty military currently, or if you're a veteran, you can put that right in here. And then it allows you to pick the branch once we pick that as well. And remember that we can go in and filter under referrals by anybody that has said that they are that. So we've got a drop down right there. Same thing, bio right here, where we can copy and paste from anywhere else. And then your contact information down here, and then your market center and brokerage information. Compliance and legal footer is more just for your website, not going to play into referrals. And then we have social again down here. And then there's always going to be at the bottom of each page, there's going to be that save section right here. So if we did make any changes, we just would want to make sure that we're coming right down here and that we hit that save button. So again, we got here by going to settings and then connect settings, and then directly underneath your marketing profile. This doesn't have to do with Command referrals. However, what we generally see is if I go into Command referrals and I search for an agent and I see their referral information, I know Becky, and Becky's on my screen, so I'm going to use Becky as an example. So I go to Becky's Command profile and everything looks good. And I'm like, yeah, this is nice. We generally see that a lot of times agents will do one additional step of due diligence, and they're going to look at Becky's social media. And so if you have a social media business page, anything that you're using for your real estate business, we really just recommend that that's your brand. And so the same photo that you have here, your headshot, or if it's your team, is that also what's on your social media? Your same contact information, could they get in touch with you? Your same bio, is that the same thing? Because we do see, especially if somebody's going to be referring out a lot of business, they want to know that they're referring it to someone that is an active real estate agent, and they're checking sometimes not just within KW Command, but also in social media. So the more that we can really make sure we're branding ourselves, if we get a new headshot, that we're updating it, you know, across the board, everywhere that potentially is, which could be a lot of places, just to make sure that it's up to date. Just a little kind of word to the wise there. So that is everything referral wise. Any questions from anyone, feel free to unmute or drop it in the chat just as we continue to finish this out. If it were up to me and maybe some suggestions of some action items, since you guys have been here, I would maybe go first and just make sure, is your profile up to date? Is it reflecting everything as you want it to? Are all of the details correct? And then I would go in and I would play around with that, where you can see the referral patterns, and I would pick your area and I would maybe find like the top 3 to 4, and I would go in and I would find agents in that area and connect with them organically, send them the note, some cool things. I don't know if anybody here is going to Mega Agent Camp next week, but again, tons of referrals come from that. So we would want to make sure that maybe we've done that ahead of time. Let's just check chat. Looks like we don't have any questions. So thank you guys so much for being here. We will go in and we'll convert the recording, and then we will upload that probably by end of day today, and then have that set out. Oh, Terrence, I did see your hand. Hey.
I have a question. It's off topic of what we talked about today, but I ran across it earlier today.
Yeah.
On the birthday smart plan.
Okay.
And because I haven't looked at it since I got it. Do you know if it's possible to edit the text that is sent on the birthday smart plan?
Let me just pause the recording real quick.